So I think we can all agree that the reworked Mercy was really, really, really good. And I'd really call it the most broken character that's been in the game for a long time. She had an instant res with really almost no counterplay other than killing her, but that's not really counterplay. That counters everything in the game, obviously. She had one of the best ults in the game. She had a really fast charge. She just had so much going for her, and we could see this reflect in the stats with around a 98 to 99% pick rate and like a 56 to 57% win rate. A really good character. But with such a good character, I think that she actually made a lot of people quit Overwatch competitive, at least for that season, and I think in a lot of cases, people still haven't really come back since then. Now, of course, this doesn't apply to everyone. A lot of people did like that meta. A lot of people played Mercy, like the rework, whatever. But I'm going to try to talk about the players that didn't really have the best experience with this meta and why it was so bad for them and why Mercy made a lot of players just not have way too much fun. And I feel like the number one reason that I should go on to first is that Mercy made so that you could only play characters that were good with Mercy or good versus Mercy because she was so strong. She was the character that you needed every single game, the character that would win you the game or lose you the game, so obviously play characters around that. And this kind of created a very toxic environment where if you played people that weren't good in the meta, that weren't good with Mercy, yeah, you got flamed super hard, especially if no one was playing Mercy. If no one would go onto Mercy, your team just essentially gave up. Your team was just, they were just completely salty. And it does make sense though, because your chance of winning was pretty low as well, considering how good she was. But anyways, back to the team comp and back to people playing characters. I feel like there was a really big problem that was created during the Mercy meta that still, I guess, kind of persists a little bit today. During that meta, people were just really used to only playing meta comps, and a lot of the characters in the game just kind of got sidelined. If you weren't a hit scan that could kill Mercy, or if you weren't a certain dive comp that could work kind of against her, or maybe Fall Mercy or anything like that, if you weren't one of those exact characters, for the most part, you again got flamed, and for a lot of players, they couldn't really even play a character that could play against Mercy. I think a pretty good example of this could be Doomfist. While he does have the potential to get the one-shot on her, in a lot of cases, he really couldn't. And in a lot of cases, he just couldn't do way too much in general. So, people that wanted to try to play Doomfist, you just can't. You just simply can't play that character because while it is possible, it is so difficult for such a large amount of players that they just had to kind of give it up. And as well, of course, dealing with the flame. I feel like that was a problem that kind of happened, and what it did was that it made a lot of players that used to play the game, and it made a lot of players that had their favorite characters that they would try to play for a lot of seasons have to just kind of stop, because again, if your character wasn't pretty good versus Mercy, it felt like you had no counterplay versus her. It felt like you couldn't do anything, and even if you didn't really have any teammates that were mad at you, just personally, it wasn't very fun to play against her unless you were a good character against her. Another thing that I feel like also was kind of a big problem is that, of course, you had to focus Mercy all the time, and it created this sentence where it just wasn't very fun to play in that meta. If you didn't get the Mercy picked off first, you lost. And I think after a certain amount of time, people just kind of stopped playing that. I saw, at least from my own Twitch stream or other things like that, people just didn't really want to go into games where they had to deal with that. And I think the main problem with all of this is that even though, some players may have come back after the Mercy meta went away, a lot of players just got kind of bored with the game, and many players don't come back for a long while after they get bored with the game. And I feel like Mercy should have been a character that was hotfixed relatively quickly because just how strong she was, but that didn't really happen. Something else I should also mention though, I guess, other than previously mentioned stuff, is that she came out at a very bad time in my opinion. The meta was already pretty stale. Season 6, Season 5, people thought was pretty toxic. They didn't like that way too much. And when you put all that together, plus Mercy, which creates a meta that is extremely stale, that requires only certain characters to be played, that creates a very toxic environment, when you put that all together, I think that just kind of creates a recipe for a game that people don't really want to play anymore for a while. And I think that's what kind of happens. And that's why I kind of think that Mercy made a lot of people quit Overwatch Ranked, and why she kind of ruined Overwatch Competitive for a while. Now, I do feel like this was fixed quite well. Mercy isn't really way too overpowered anymore, and Mercy is in a pretty decent spot, and I feel like not way too many people complain about her. A lot more team comps are good right now. You can play the majority of characters. You aren't forced to that 2-2-2 with the Mercy, and I feel like the game is going up and up and up. But this is at least why I feel like Mercy did ruin Overwatch competitive for a while, and I guess some of the lasting effects is just the lack of certain players in the player base. Certain mains just went down the hole of death, and that's kind of where the problems really came from. But hopefully eventually those players will come back and we can continue where we left off before Mercy came in. Well, I guess we're just gonna kind of have to see. Anyways, as always, guys, thank you all for watching. This is just my own opinion from what I've experienced. And again, I do actually really like Mercy. I think she's an awesome character. I love her rework. I just thought, you know, let me talk about some of the reasons why maybe players stopped playing the game. And I feel like this is one of those that was very important to talk about. Maybe not lasting right now, but, you know, a big thing in the past. Anyways, as always, guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you want to see more stuff like this in the future. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.